This is Tom Dillon, the lifetime liberal, and today is Monday, June 17th, 2019. And the title of this rant is Nancy Has Big Plans for 2020. So we know there's all this talk about impeachment, but let's remember only about 60 Democrats have signed on for it. That means approximately 170 Democrats have not signed on for it. They probably could get it if it came up for a vote, but remember, many of these are in red territories. They have to win on bread and butter issues, and Nancy is delivering for them. Because let's remember that Nancy's sole purpose in life is two things. Number one, to get a Democrat elected president of the United States. And number two, she has to win the House again so that she can maintain her power. And she has to win the House again even if a Democrat is not elected president of the United States. So she has a huge coalition of 230 members. Many of them are very liberal. They're in very secure districts, but many of them are not that quite as liberal and not in that secure district. So what does she have to run on? She has to have a strategy that can win everywhere. And she has a tremendous strategy. And I know it hasn't been talked about most, but 6 of the 9 signature issues they've already passed in the House. I believe the other 3 are coming up very soon. And you have to have a strategy and a policy to win on your positive message. You can't just be against this slime ball that's in the White House right now. And this is what they're running on. Number one, background checks. That was passed. That has a 94% approval rating. And many firearm safety issues have over a 70% approval ratings on that. LGBT equality is polling at over 70%. That has been something that they have passed in the House. And then the big 3 or 4 in terms of voter registration. Number one, that felons can vote. Number 2, same-day voter registration. Number 3, automatic voter registration, meaning that when you turn 18, you automatically are eligible to vote. You don't have to sign up for anything. And then number 4, that Election Day is a federal holiday so that everyone, as many people can vote as humanly possible. All of them are polling well over 60% to 69%. What's the next one? 6 in 10 Americans want us to stay in the Paris Peace Accords. And that was from a polling that was done about a year ago. And of course, the way climate change is showing right now, that could be even higher right now. And again, that is showing that people want the government to take to take affirmative action that we are dealing with this issue. Now, there are other things that are going to be coming up that they're going to vote on that are also extremely popular. An infrastructure bill. And again, that is going to commit up to $2 trillion to do things for our roads, bridges, highways, underpasses, trusses, all that kind of stuff. Railroads, everything else. And this includes airplanes, etc., airports. Prescription drug policy that should be going along with Obamacare, but none of that will happen this time around. But perhaps the president will want to do something on prescription drugs because he is way down in the polls. Also, paycheck fairness. All of these, very popular. All of them are polling over 60%. Some of them are polling over 70%. 6 of those 9 have been passed in the House. They plan on passing the rest a little later on. They'll never be brought up in the Senate. Even if they were voted on in the Senate and they were passed, outside of the prescription drug policy, probably none of that would be signed by the president in any way, shape, or form. And as I said, you have to have a plan. You have to have a policy. You have to have your strategy. And the strategy is we need to go on the issues. And remember, healthcare was the leading issue in 2018, and I believe it was between 8 and 9 million more votes were cast for Democrats than were for Republicans. So Nancy is on firm ground in terms of holding on to her coalition, going after the bread and butter issues that we desperately need in the United States, and letting all of the legal stuff in terms of the president take its fair course in time. Allow it to move as it goes along. So there's a method to her madness. She has a policy, and she and everyone else now, based on some polling that came out, the president's own polling from the other day, is that the Democrats are looking very strong. There's a lot can go on in the next 17 months, but they need to go after their policy issues, their bread and butter issues. There's an old saying in addiction circles, stick with the winners, and all the things that I just mentioned are big time winners for the Democrats.